Hello students, so let's see, the topic for today is controlling techniques and management by exception. So I, Dr. Priyaraj Batolia, Assistant Professor, Bora Institute of Management Sciences, will help you to understand these concepts of controlling. So in this video, we will be discussing about the controlling techniques along with the management by exception. It is rightly said that control your own destiny, otherwise someone else will do it. So instead of handing over your own area into somebody's hand, you should better control your things on your own accord. So dear students, let's start with the controlling techniques. Controlling techniques are divided into two types and two phases. One is traditional and another one is modern. In traditional, we can see the techniques include personal observation, statistical data, control through costing, break-even analysis, operational audit, budget and budgetary control, special reports and analysis. In modern techniques, you see ROI, that is return on investment, responsibility accounting, human asset accounting, management information system, that is MIS, management audit, Six Sigma, total quality management, and finally PERT and CPM. So let's discuss this technique in detail. Coming with the traditional technique, the first one is the personal observation. In personal observation, controlling is very easy. Here, the supervisor himself observes the employees and his work. He brings him in direct contact with the worker and hence the problems are solved during observation. Observation basically helps in efficient supervision in which the manager comes in direct contact, and if there are certain problems or certain areas of correction, the manager can personally solve those problems coming in direct contact and with the help of personal observation. So that is somewhat more easy. Now the second is the statistical data. Here the data retrieved from the organization is analyzed in terms of averages, percentage, ratios, correlations, which provides you the basis for controlling. Statistical data gives a concrete figure in terms of numbers. With the help of that, you can take a better decision in the process of controlling. Next is controlling through costing. It involves the control over cost in the light of certain predetermined cost, usually known as standard cost. In organization, there are generally two types of costing. One is standard costing and another is actual costing. In controlling through cost, you can see that what is the deviation between the actual cost and the standard cost. Standard cost covers all the cost including the labor cost and the fixed cost. So when you see that there is a deviation between the actual cost and standard cost, here the controlling process actually starts. You can control those costs and you can reduce those errors, which helps in improving or maximizing your profit. So the third method is control through costing, in which you can see and you can set the standard cost and you can compare it with the actual cost. Fourth one is the break-even analysis. This is the method in which the break-even point is determined. The break-even point actually tells it there is no profit, no loss. The total revenue equals to the total cost and the profit is nil. With the help of the diagram, you can see that the break-even point is actually the point where the manager can evaluate the sales of a particular product where the cost can be recovered. Below break even point, you can see the loss occurs and above break even point the profit occurs. So, this is the point actually where you can see that there is no profit, no loss, and here you can sell the amount of product which can actually recover your cost. Above selling that break even point, you will definitely earn profit, and below that you will get a loss. So, break even analysis is somewhere a traditional technique which helps us, or which helps a manager to take a decision in controlling system. Fourth is operational audit. It is a regular and independent appraisal by a staff of internal auditors of the accounting, financial and other operations of an enterprise. Operational audit basically helps in the internal audit. Here some particular staff or auditors are being appointed. With the help of that, you can see the profit and loss in the organization. With the help of the operational audit, you can find out actually where the problem is, and you can rectify those problems with the help of efficient staff or internal auditors. This is a process which is on the basis of regular and independent appraisal. Next is the budget and budgetary control. Budgetary control is done for all aspects of business such as income, expenditure, production, capital and revenue. Budget basically clears the idea about the cost कि आपका budget क्या है. If the budget is very clear, somewhere you need to know that you have to work between or among those particular set of things or the things which are being provided. So, budget basically estimates or give you the clear idea about the things or the funds which are available with you. With the help of budget, somewhere you can control the process in management. If the things are within your control of budget, obviously it is very much required to take a serious step against it, and if the things are within your budgetary control, the seriousness of controlling is not that much required. So, budget is basically about dealing with your terms in monetary pattern. It tells you about the monetary pattern or the amount you have to spend in your organization. Point number 7 is special reports and analysis. For control purposes, special reports and analysis help in particular problem solving. In special reports and analysis, with the help of graphs, figures or statistical data, you get a concrete report about what is actually happening. You can analyze those graphs or figures. With the help of that, you can find the problem area and you can rectify those problems which has been there in the organization. So, these were some of the traditional techniques of controlling. Again, for a quick revision, we have dealt with the personal observation, second is the statistical data, third is the control through costing, fourth is the break even analysis, fifth is the operational audit, sixth is the budget and budgetary control, and the last one was special reports and analysis. Now, let us see the modern technique in detail. Coming on with the modern technique, the first one is the return on investment. Return on investment basically tells about how much you have invested in the organization, and in spite of that investment, what are the returns to your organization is. It also tells about the efficiency of the organization is judged by the amount of profit it earns in relationship to the size of the investment. आपने कितना इन्वेस्ट किया और उसके बदले में आपको कितना प्रॉफिट मिला, that is basically what ROI means to tell. It has a very simple formula, that is sales upon investment multiplied by profit divided by profit upon loss. So, it basically tells about कि अगर आपने 100 रुपये लगाए हैं किसी पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट में और अगर आपको उसके बदले में अगर 120 मिल रहा है, सो दैट इज़ बेसिकली द 20 रुपीज़ गिव्स यू द प्रॉफिट, एंड इफ़ यू फाइंड दैट प्रॉफिट, द बिजनेस इज़ in your control, and if you find that there is a lot of deviations between the investment and profit, you need to have a particular set of controlling techniques. So, ROI basically helps in the modern pattern of controlling technique. With the help of a formula, you can find out the return on investment. Coming on to the next, that is responsibility accounting. There are two types of accounting. One is product cost accounting and another one is responsibility accounting. In responsibility accounting, it focuses on MBO, that is management by objective. Management by objective basically says about that there should be a participatory approach between the management and his employees for setting the particular goal. In this, both the parties have joint consultation about setting their objective, and hence responsibility accounting helps in the controlling process, because each person is responsible for his area of operation, and if he knows exactly, he must know what is the cost and what his cost were. Here he is actually responsible for his own work, because the objectives are set according to his according to his suggestion, and here he takes the overall responsibility of whatever he is doing. Management by objective also helps to frame their own objectives in their own domain area, and both the organization in terms of manager and employees set their own responsibility. It also somewhere avoids domination. It does not pressurize or focus on pressuring the employees to complete or achieve the goal, as in management by objectives the things or the objectives are set on joint consultation. So, responsibility accounting is very easy in controlling process. Next is human asset accounting. In human asset accounting, it is relatively very difficult to measure human asset or human nature. In terms of quantitatively, that is physical and financial efforts, it is very easy to assess those things, but when it comes to the point of measuring or accounting human nature, it is more complex, because it is related to somewhat psychological factors. It has also been proved that human asset accounting somewhere faces resistance in terms of measurement and evaluation. When it comes to the picture that you need to appraise the employee or you need to measure their performance, you can find lot many problems facing by the managers, because there is lot many resistance in from the side of employees. Employees usually do not like that they are being evaluated, they are being performed. So, when it comes to the point that you need to account human asset, you need to face lot many problems in terms of human behavior. Somewhere in terms of quantitative approach, that is the physical or financial approach, the controlling is very easy, but in terms of human behavior, controlling process is a greater task on the side of a manager, and it is somewhere complex and difficult. Point number 4 is management information system. It is also known as MIS. MIS basically is a system where the information is being provided by the manager whenever it is required. It is stored in the form of data. With the help of computers, we can easily retrieve those data whenever it is required for decision making or controlling process. It is defined as the system of providing needed information to each manager at right time, in right form and relevant one, which aids his understanding and stimulates his action. Somewhere or the other, MIS provides a concrete data to a manager in decision making. This data can be used at right time and in the right form for controlling process. So, basically MIS is a system where a manager can retrieve the data and work accordingly in his domain. Next is the management audit. Audit means periodic inspection of financial statements and verifying that the statements are honestly and fairly prepared according to the accounting principle. An audit thus provides the basis for control. Management accounting somewhere helps in inspection or controlling the financial statement. With the help of auditors, you can actually evaluate the things what are happening in the organization in terms of financial statements, and you can also verify those statements, and accordingly you can control the entire process of management. Management audit gives a concrete data according to which the manager can take his decision and rectify the errors, and he can also minimize the deviations which were being expected. Six Sigma. Six Sigma was basically given by Bill Smith in 1968. He was an engineer working in Motorola, and he has given the concept of Six Sigma. Six Sigma offers tools and techniques that reduces variance, eliminates defects, and help identify the root cause of errors, allowing organization to create better products and services for customers. So, somewhere Six Sigma is the process in which you can rectify the defects, you can also improve some or the other time, you can improve the morale as well as the quality of the product. It also helps you to identify the root cause of problem, means what was the actual cause of the problem, what was the actual reason behind the deviation. It also helps the organization to create a better productivity and well as serve the customers in a better manner. So, Six Sigma is a process which helps in minimizing the deviations as well as increasing the profit in the organization. Total quality management, which is also known as TQM. TQM is a concept in which the customer satisfaction and continuous improvement is emphasized. It is a management system for a customer focused organization that involves all the employees in continuous improvement. So, in TQM you can easily modify and rectify those errors, those deviations, and this system focuses on customer satisfaction with continuous improvement, and hence TQM creates and helps a value addition in the modern techniques of controlling. Coming on to the last, that is the modern techniques including PERT and CPM. PERT is program evaluation and review technique, and CPM is critical path method. Both these techniques helps in performing various functions of management like planning, scheduling and implementing. They also helps to complete the project on timely basis, including the performance of variety of complex, diverse or interrelated activities. So, both these techniques helps you to minimize the time, and they will help you in planning and scheduling of various activities which can be exhibited in a project. Now, dealing with PERT. PERT is a graphical representation of a project that are timely based. It also helps you to evaluate the resources and time, and somewhere in PERT, as you can see in diagram, you can see the circles are connected with the arrows, which shows that the probability of the first event is connected to the second and the second is connected to the third. With the help of this, somewhere you can find the time and resources should be efficiently used and the project can be completed on time with the minimum time limitation. In terms of CPM, you can see that again it helps you to complete the project on the limited time and also with the limited budget. So, both these techniques somewhere helps you in a graphical representation form to perform a particular project, to schedule that project and somewhere implement the time bound project, and which are basically very complex and diverse in nature. So, we have dealt with the modern techniques of management, of controlling. So, let us see the next topic, and which is the last one. It is management by exception. Management by exception says that here you do not need to bother your management in very small problems. Here you need to focus the attention of the management on the bigger or the problems which needs attention. So, it has the purpose of only bothering management with most important variants from the plan direction or results of business. So, here you need to disturb or you need to seek guidance from management only where it is required, basically on the larger aspects. It also empowers the manager to concentrate on the exceptionally important or critical areas. As the manager has to do lot many works in the organization, management by exception helps the manager to focus on a particular set of problem which is exceptional and critical. For example, the company controller may be required to notify the management for those expenses that are of greater than 10,000 or 20% of higher that was being expected. Means here if the variations or deviation is about 10,000 or 20%, then only the supervisor needs to inform his manager. If the deviations or error are below this, the supervisor can take decision on his behalf. Getting a more clear picture about MBE, let us see the concept of management by exception. It is a system of identifying and communicating that signals the manager as to when and where his attention is needed. जहाँ भी ज़रूरत है, जहाँ भी बहुत क्रूशियल प्रॉब्लम है, सिर्फ वहीं पर आपको अपने मैनेजर को कम्युनिकेट करना है और इंडिकेट करना है. The main objective of the system is to enable the manager to identify and isolate the problems that call for decision and action. The basic intention or the objective is आपको वहीं पर मैनेजर को बुलाना है या सजेशंस लेनी है या राय लेनी है जहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम ज़्यादा बड़ी होगी और जहाँ पर डिसीजन मेकिंग टफ होगा. जहाँ तक छोटे डिसीजंस की या छोटे प्रॉब्लम्स की बात होती है, वहाँ पर सुपरवाइज़र या मिडिल लेवल मैनेजर अपने बिहाफ पे डिसीजन ले सकता है और हर छोटी छोटी चीज़ों के लिए वो टॉप लेवल को बॉदर नहीं कर सकता या नहीं करना चाहिए. सो दैट इज़ बेसिकली व्हाट मैनेजमेंट बाय एक्सेप्शन सेज. इट ऑल्सो सेज दैट it avoids or ignores or pay less attention to less critical problems which better is handled by his subordinates. If the things are at lower level or the problem is very small, at that point the lower level management or the middle level management can handle those things instead of focusing on the problems which can be avoided. Now, let us take an example. The production manager establishes quality standards wherein 5 defects per unit produced were permissible. If in production out of 100 units, if there are 5 defects, the manager itself can take the decision and rectify those errors. But as long as the number of defects does not exceed 5, the supervisors will handle the problem. Whenever there are more than 5 defects, he needs to report his production manager. So, in the company there was a production procedure. If 100 units were produced and the defects were only 5, the supervisor can take the decision by himself. But if the defects raise more than 5 in 100 units, he needs to be immediately inform his production manager to take a serious action, and this is management by exception, because the thing that is above 5 defects is the exceptional or critical problem which needs to be brought into picture by the supervisor. Let us see the advantages and disadvantages of management by exception. It saves time and energy of senior executives, because here senior executives do not pay attention to small or less important problems. So, automatically the time and energy is saved because he focuses his attention on critical and major problems. It leads to identification of critical or real problem areas, because MBE helps to identify those critical problems. It stimulates communication, because here when there are major or critical problems, the supervisors or the middle level managers needs to report or needs to inform the top level. So, hence it stimulates this communication. It also helps in lesser number of decisions are required to be taken, which enables the manager to go in detail. यहाँ पर मैनेजर को हर छोटे छोटे डिसीजंस में अपने राय देने से बेटर है कुछ मेजर डिसीजंस में ही उसे अपनी जब राय देनी होगी तो उसे ज़्यादा डिटेल में जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. जो चीज़ एक्सेप्शनल है, क्रिटिकल है, वो उसी को ज़्यादा एनालाइज करेगा और उसी में अपना डिटेल डिसीजन देगा, उसी में कंट्रोलिंग करेगा इन स्पाइट ऑफ वो हर प्रॉब्लम को उतने सीरियसली डील करे. इट ऑल्सो हेल्प्स प्रिवेंट मैनेजमेंट फ्रॉम ओवर मैनेजिंग. अब जहाँ पर छोटी छोटी चीज़ें हैं जो मैनेजर या सुपरवाइज़र अपने लेवल पे सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, वहाँ पर हर बार टॉप मैनेजमेंट का इन्वॉल्वमेंट ज़रूरी नहीं है. तो मैनेजमेंट बाय एक्सेप्शन बेसिकली हेल्प्स द मैनेजमेंट फ्रॉम ओवर मैनेजिंग. इट ऑल्सो कॉन्सेंट्रेट्स इट एफर्ट्स वेयर एवर इट इज़ पॉसिबल. जहाँ पर ज़रूरत है, जहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम ज़्यादा मेजर है, वहीं पर जो टॉप लेवल है वो अपना कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ऑफ एफर्ट्स डालेंगे. जहाँ ज़रूरत नहीं है, दे डू नॉट नीड टू पे एनी अटेंशन टू दोज दैट स्मॉल और मेजर माइनर प्रॉब्लम्स. एंड लास्टली it alarms the management about the good opportunity as well as the difficulties. MBE at some or the other point informs the management, it alarms the management about the opportunities, whatever there is a new opportunity in the market, as well as if there is some problem area which need to be rectified. Coming on to the disadvantage of MBE, अब नुकसान भी, अगर फ़ायदे हैं तो नुकसान भी होने चाहिए. So, point number 1 is complex observation and reporting system. In MBE, the supervisor has to be very serious related to the observation pattern. उसको हर छोटी छोटी चीज़ को बहुत consciously observe करना होगा, और if there are critical problems, he need to inform his top management. If the problems are minor or it can be rectified on his behalf, he needs to be very much focused, as well as the reporting systems needs to be strong. So, यहाँ पर जो ऑब्जर्वेशन और जो रिपोर्टिंग टेक्निक है वो थोड़ी सी कॉम्प्लेक्स होती है. नेक्स्ट, इट इंक्रीजेज पेपर वर्क, because in MBA when there is a critical problem it needs to be informed to top management. So, lot many paperwork is required, and it gives it wastes your lot much of time on the behalf of middle level as well as on upper level. The system is silent till the problem becomes critical. अगेन अ डिसएडवांटेजेस, जब तक प्रॉब्लम बड़ी नहीं होगी तब तक ये सिस्टम चुप बैठा होता है. जैसे ही प्रॉब्लम बड़ी हो जाती है, सिस्टम नीड्स टू इन्फॉर्म. ह्यूमन फैक्टर्स आर वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू मेजर. इट इज़ वेरी टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस. द होल प्रोसेस इज़ इनएफेक्टिव इफ़ योर एनालिस्ट इज़ इनकम्पिटेंट. जो आपका एनालिस्ट है अगर वो ही केपेबल नहीं है तो कहीं ना कहीं आपको एरर नहीं पता चलेगा. एंड लास्टली, it requires delegation and decentralization, which is usually avoided by management. MBA efficiently तब काम करता है जब आप अपने एम्प्लॉयज़ को कुछ डेलीगेशन देंगे, और जनरली वो मैनेजमेंट पसंद नहीं करता है, क्योंकि छोटे मोटे डिसीजंस अगर खुद मिडिल या लोअर लेवल लेने लगेगा तो कहीं ना कहीं मैनेजमेंट को दिक्कत शुरू हो जाती है. सो ये एक डिसएडवांटेज है इन टर्म्स ऑफ MBE. सो टुडे स्टूडेंट्स, वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट द टेक्निक्स ऑफ कंट्रोलिंग. We have discussed the traditional and modern techniques of controlling, and along with that we have discussed management by exception regarding the concept, the advantages and disadvantages of management by exception. I hope you must have find this video very interesting. Thank you. Have a nice day.